Job chapter 22 in the King James Version. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Can a man be profitable unto God, as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous, or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter with thee into judgment? Is not thy wickedness great, and thine iniquities infinite? For thou hast taken a pledge from thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink, and thou hast withholden bread from the hungry. But as for the mighty man, he had the earth, and the honorable man dwelt in it. Thou hast sent widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless have been broken. Therefore snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubleth thee, or darkness, that thou canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold the height of the stars, how high they are. And thou sayest, How doth God know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him that he seeth not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven. Hast thou marked the old way which wicked men have trodden, which were cut down out of time, whose foundation was overflown with a flood, which said unto God, Depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it, and are glad, and the innocent laugh them to scorn. Whereas our substance is not cut down, but the remnant of them the fire consumeth. Acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Thereby good shall come unto thee. Receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his words in thine heart. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Thou shalt put away iniquity far from thy tabernacles. Then shalt thou lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brooks. Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have plenty of silver. For then shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty, and shalt lift up thy face unto God. Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he shall hear thee, and thou shalt pay thy vows. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. When men are cast down, then thou shalt say, There is lifting up, and he shall save the humble person. He shall deliver the island of the innocent, and it is delivered by the pureness of thine hands. Okay, so, oh boy, his friend Eliphaz is going in on Job again and telling him, even your righteousness that you say that, even you're saying that you're guiltless in this, even saying that is part of your sin. Job can't win. Job cannot. I like, when I read this, I'm like, dang, like there's nothing that Job can say to even convince his friends to feel something different, to understand what has happened to him, to have compassion, to have understanding, to anything. Like, they're just they're at this point where they're just like, you can't justify yourself. He can't. He's unjustifiable at this point. And he's like, because in verse 2, can a man be profitable unto God as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? He goes on, is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Like, as in, anything that you're doing is gonna be benefit, like, as in the Lord had to have you do it so he can continue himself to move forward, like continue in his goal and to continue in the goodness of. You have to be good so God can be good. And so and that's why he says in verse 4, will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter with thee into judgment? And then he tells them, is not thy wickedness great and thine iniquities infinite? Your thoughts of your own self-righteousness are sin itself. It's what he's telling them. Okay, he's going in. And that's it. I'm laughing at it because it's like one of those times where you would either laugh about the despair or just go into an ugly cry, right? And so, and also, but thinking about just like, dang, for Job, oh my gosh, like he can't get a break. He can't get a break even from his friends. This is a lot of testing going on. I mean, his wealth has been wiped out, and then his own family, his children have been wiped out, and he is in a wreck. He is completely just, devastated. So his friend goes on to say, a lot here, okay? But he turns around and says that he needs to humble himself, and return to the Lord. And that's why he goes in verse 22, receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his words in thine heart. And then verse 25, yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have plenty of silver. So as long as Job were to just repent now for whatever it is, because obviously he's being secretive at this point, his friends don't even believe him. That's just devastating. Bring past to present. There is a lot here. Sermon upon sermon. Okay. I know I've talked about this before, but it's coming up again. Scripts. Roles. Have you ever, I know you have. Because even the person that says that they haven't, I know they have. They don't think that they have. So we get into where we think we know people, even people that we don't know. Or just met, acquaintances, families, you name it. And we start answering or creating scenarios and their action/reaction from our own. So that's where the saying was like, don't judge me, or don't be mad, or I know you're not going to like this, but. First of all, we can't tell any one person how they're going to feel. Parents, that goes for you too. I know because I have a parent that told me we can choose how we feel. We can choose to be sad or happy. And in saying that too, because in essence is that typically came up when something bad had happened. And particularly when there's some punishment going on with it. But that also proved the point. It proves the point of will too. Like we can choose to follow him or we can choose not to. And that's to anybody. So trying to create a script for someone is self-defeating. Not only is it self-defeating, but you never know truly how someone's going to, you may think you know, you even may say, I end their sentences. And sometimes you are correct. Absolutely. However, there will be circumstances where you think you know that you can end that person's sentence and you are way off. Also, think about it this way. How would you feel if someone went to you and said, this is how you're going to act? I know you've heard it, like, especially when it comes to a parent saying, "This is how you're going to act when we enter the store." Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I know some people have. or this is how you're going to act in this dinner that we're going to have today. Usually it's coming from a very you're going to an important event or important thing, and the parent or the person wants to make sure that everything runs smoothly or goes smoothly. Trying that pre-control. Anyways, continuing on. So he's putting on this thing, this script on Job, and Job has no part in it. Job has no part in it. And so thinking about that, right? And then tell him, just repent, because the Lord is your defense. When Job has already said, the Lord, my Redeemer, lives. So what is the point of Eliphaz? There's a lot of important information that Eliphaz is saying. Absolutely. But what is happening with Eliphaz? Like, as we're reading, we've been reading from the Bible studies to Bible study up until this chapter, chapter 22. This is a question for you. At this point, for Eliphaz, because there's going to be more to come, what are you seeing that Eliphaz is doing? Do we do it? Have you done it? Before we go on, though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel and what does it make you think?